Hey everyone, and welcome back to Deep Dive Dialogues 3D. We're diving into something that's been getting a lot of buzz lately, turkey tail mushrooms.
That's right.
Yeah, their potential health benefits are everywhere,
Yeah.
and we just had to get to the bottom of it.
You bet. And you've given me a ton of material to go through for this deep dive. We've got scientific studies, foraging guides. We've even got recipes for incorporating turkey tail into your daily routine.
I know, it's crazy. This one mushroom has captured like traditional healers, A&D, modern scientists.
It's true.
And honestly, before even opening the sources, I got hooked by the visuals. I mean, come on. A mushroom that has shades of brown, red, orange, yellow, gray, A&D, blue. Nature's got some serious artistic talent.
Yeah. It's true. They are really striking, the colors, and it's not just random splashes of color.
Yeah.
The scientific name Trametes versicolor actually kind of hints at this.
Oh, okay. So you said Trametes versicolor, but we're calling it turkey tail. So is there a difference?
Yeah, great question. So turkey tail is just the common name,
Right.
the one that most people use. And it comes from the fact that the mushroom's, fan-shaped cap with those bands of color kind of resembles the tail feathers of a wild turkey.
Right.
But in the scientific world, it's Trametes versicolor.
Got it. So it's like it has a stage name and a real name.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so back to those colors. The sources describe them as zones. So what does that mean exactly?
Well, imagine each ring or band on the mushroom cap is a zone of color. And these zones can be incredibly diverse. You might have like a zone of deep brown that borders a zone of like bright orange, then a little sliver of pale gray, and so on and so forth.
Wow. Okay, I can see it now. But before we get totally lost in, the aesthetic, there was something in the sources about like their ecological role too.
Yeah.
Something about being a white rot fungus.
Yeah, you're right. Now, white rot fungus might sound a bit scary, but it actually describes like the crucial role that these mushrooms play in our ecosystems. You see, they're master decomposers, and specifically, they break down dead wood.
So they're like nature's cleanup crew.
Exactly. And they target the lignin in wood, which is that, tough substance that gives trees their rigidity. And by breaking down that lignin, they actually help to, like, recycle nutrients back into the forest floor.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. So not just beautiful, but essential.
Right.
Okay, so if we wanted to find these fabulous fungi in the wild, where do we start looking?
Well, you need to know their favorite hangouts.
Okay.
They love hardwood trees, like oak, beech, and birch. So a forest with, like, a mix of those trees would be a good bet. They're not limited to, like, the deep woods, though. You might find them in, like, local parks, even in your own backyard if you have the right trees.
Wait, so you're saying like I could stumble upon these colorful treasures on my next nature walk?
Absolutely. It's very possible. They're often found on, like, fallen logs or stumps. So keep your eyes peeled. And they're not too picky about location, so you might find them in various climates.
It's getting me really excited to go out and find them. But hold on, how do we know for sure that it's a turkey tail and not just some like random mushroom? I wouldn't want to accidentally pick the wrong one.
Right, yeah. That's a good point. So while pictures can be helpful, it's never enough to rely solely on them for identification. Mushrooms can be tricky. There are lookalikes out there.
So how do we avoid a mushroom mishap?
Well, a good field guide is essential, one that's specific to your region.
Right.
But even better than that is connecting with like a local mycologist or a mushroom expert. They can teach you like the key features to look for.
Yeah, okay. Expert guidance.
Right.
But while we're searching for a mycologist, what are some basic things to look for when trying to identify turkey tail?
Well, besides the colors, pay attention to the shape and texture. So turkey tails are fan-shaped, they're thin, they've got kind of a leathery feel to them.
Wow.
And if you flip the mushroom over, you're going to notice tiny pores underneath instead of gills. And those pores are like a telltale sign.
Got it. Okay. Fan-shaped, leathery, pores underneath. I'm feeling like a mushroom detective already.
There you go.
All right. So we found our turkey tail patch, we've confirmed the ID, and we're ready to harvest. Now, what do we do with them?
Well, that's where the preparation comes in. The sources you gave me detail all sorts of methods for drying and preserving these mushrooms so you can unlock their potential benefits.
Okay, from forest to pantry. All right, I'm all ears. So what's the best way to dry them?
Well, there's a few options.
Okay.
Air drying is the most traditional method. And it's surprisingly simple. All you gotta do is thread the sliced mushrooms onto a string and hang them in a dry, well-ventilated area. Think of it like a natural mushroom garland.
That's kind of charming, actually, but I have to admit, I'm not known for my patience. So is there a faster way?
Yeah, if you're looking for a more modern approach, a dehydrator is your best friend. It's quick, efficient, and you can control the temperature for, optimal drying.
And if we don't have a dehydrator handy?
No problem. Your oven can come to the rescue.
Okay.
Just set it to the lowest temperature, around 120 degrees Fahrenheit,
Mm-hmm.
and spread the mushroom slices on a baking sheet, lined with parchment paper. And just remember to leave the oven door slightly ajar to allow for air circulation.
Okay. So now we've got our perfectly dried turkey tail slices. What's next?
Well, next comes storage. Proper storage is crucial to preserve the quality and potency of your dried mushrooms. So airtight containers are your best bet. Find a cool, dark place in your pantry, and those dried turkey tails should last you for up to a year.
Wow, a year's worth of turkey tail, all ready to go. Okay, now for the moment of truth. How do we actually consume these treasures? I'm ready to unlock those health benefits.
Well, that's the great thing about turkey tail. It's very versatile. The sources actually highlighted several methods of consumption, catering to, different preferences.
Okay, let's hear it.
One of the simplest methods is making tea. Just take a couple of dried turkey tail pieces, crumble them up, and pour boiling water over them. Let it steep for about 10 to 15 minutes, then strain the liquid and enjoy.
All right.
You can even add like a touch of honey or lemon if you like.
Turkey tail tea time. Sounds soothing.
Right.
Okay, so what about other ways to incorporate it?
Yeah. If you want something more versatile, you can grind those dried mushrooms into a fine powder. You can use like a coffee grinder or a spice mill.
Mushroom powder, what do we do with that?
Well, think of it as a superfood booster. You can add it to smoothies, soups, sauces. You can even sprinkle it on your yogurt or your oatmeal. It's a great way to like sneak in some extra nutrients.
I love the idea of starting my day with a little turkey tail boost.
There you go.
Are there any other methods we should know about?
Yeah, for those who prefer a more concentrated form, there's the option of making a tincture. Now, this involves soaking the dried mushrooms in high-proof alcohol, like vodka, for several weeks, and the alcohol extracts the beneficial compounds, creating a potent liquid that you can take by the drop.
Okay, a turkey tail tincture. Sounds intriguing. But before anyone rushes out to forage and brew up a batch, are there any precautions we need to be aware of?
Absolutely. It's important to remember that while turkey tail mushrooms are generally considered safe, there are a few things to keep in mind.
All right, let's talk safety. So what are the potential downsides?
Well, as with any mushroom, there's always a risk of allergic reactions.
Okay.
It's rare. But if you have, known allergies to mushrooms or molds, it's best to proceed with caution.
Yeah.
And maybe even have a chat with your doctor before trying turkey tail.
Okay, so allergies, check.
Mm.
What about, other side effects?
Well, some people might experience some mild gastrointestinal discomfort, especially when they first start taking turkey tail, like bloating or gas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually nothing serious, and it tends to subside with, continued use. But starting with a small dose and gradually increasing it can help to minimize these effects.
Makes sense. So start low, go slow. Any other red flags to be watching out for?
Yeah, we touched on this earlier, but it's worth repeating. Drug interactions. Turkey tail, particularly a compound called PSK, can interact with certain medications, especially those that suppress the immune system.
Ah, that makes sense. So anyone on medication, best to talk to your doctor before adding turkey tail to your routine, just to be safe.
Exactly. Always better to err on the side of caution.
Great advice. So we've covered finding them, identifying them, drying them, even consuming turkey tail. Now for the million-dollar question. What are those health benefits that have got everyone so excited?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. So turkey tail mushrooms, they contain a variety of beneficial compounds, and one of the most studied is a protein-bound polysaccharide called PSK.
Okay, PSK.
Yeah.
We're officially entering science territory here. So break it down for us. What is PSK, and why is it such a big deal?
Well, PSK, which stands for Polysaccharide K, is like the superstar molecule found in turkey tail mushrooms. Now, polysaccharide might sound intimidating.
It does.
But it's simply a type of complex carbohydrate.
Okay.
And in the case of PSK, it's bound to a protein, forming, this powerful duo.
A tag team of health benefits. I like it.
There you go.
So what does this dynamic duo do in the body?
Well, one of PSK's key roles is acting as what scientists call a biological response modifier.
Okay, that does sound pretty complicated.
Yeah, no.
So what does that mean, in simple terms?
Well, imagine it as a fine-tuning dial for your immune system.
Okay, a fine-tuning dial. So it's like It helps our immune system work better.
Exactly. It helps to optimize your immune response,
Wow.
making it more efficient at fighting off all sorts of threats from everyday infections to potentially even, cancerous cells.
Whoa, okay. So it's not just about, like, warding off the common cold.
Yeah.
It's giving our immune system a serious upgrade.
You got it.
But how exactly does it do that?
Well, one way PSK boosts immunity is by activating certain types of immune cells called natural killer cells and T cells.
NK cells and T cells.
Yeah.
Those sound pretty intense. What do they do?
Think of them as your body's elite defense force.
Okay.
So they're responsible for identifying and destroying harmful invaders like viruses, bacteria, and even abnormal cells that could develop into cancer.
So PSK is like a personal trainer for our immune system, getting those NK cells and T cells pumped up and ready for action.
I like that. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, activating these cells. PSK also stimulates the production of cytokines.
Cytokines, another sciencey word.
Right.
What are those?
Well, cytokines are like the communication system of your immune system.
Okay.
So they're signaling molecules that help different immune cells talk to each other and coordinate their attack.
So PSK is like helping our immune cells communicate better.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And hold on, there's more. The sources also mentioned something about PSK neutralizing TGF.
Okay, what on earth is TGF?
TGF, or transforming growth factor beta, plays a pretty complex role in the body. It's involved in cell growth and division.
Okay.
And it can act as a sort of brake pedal to keep things in check.
Okay.
But in certain situations, like cancer, this braking system can malfunction.
So it's like a control mechanism for cell growth, and sometimes it goes haywire. What does PSK have to do with it?
Well, PSK has this ability to neutralize TGF, potentially helping to restore balance and prevent those, abnormal cells from growing out of control.
Whoa. So it's like PSK is cutting the brakes on runaway cancer cells.
You got it.
That's fascinating.
And the fact that PSK is approved as an adjuvant cancer treatment in Japan really speaks volumes about its effectiveness and safety. Oh, wow. So it's being used in real-world settings to help people fight cancer. That's really encouraging to hear. But what about those other potential benefits you mentioned? What's the latest on cardiovascular health and neuroprotection?
Well, in the realm of cardiovascular health, the research is still in its early stages. But what we're seeing so far is quite promising. PSK seems to have a positive impact on cholesterol levels, potentially lowering those harmful LDL levels that contribute to heart disease.
So heart-healthy mushrooms.
Right.
I like where this is going. Are there any other ways that it might benefit the heart?
Oh, there's more. PSK also exhibits antioxidant effects, which means it can help protect cells from damage caused by free radicals.
Yeah.
And since oxidative stress is a major contributor to cardiovascular disease, this antioxidant activity could be another way that PSK supports heart health.
Okay, it's amazing how this one compound seems to have so many different beneficial effects. What about neuroprotection? What's the scoop there? Well, neuroprotection is another exciting area of research. Again, it's early days, but studies suggest that PSK might be able to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain.
Okay, and why is that important for brain health?
Well, think of oxidative stress and inflammation as tiny fires. They damage brain cells over time.
Okay.
And these fires are implicated in a whole range of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. If PSK can help put out these fires, so to speak, it could play a role in preventing or slowing down these devastating conditions.
So we've got potential benefits for cancer, heart health, even brain health. Is there anything this mushroom can't do?
Well, it's important to remember that, research is ongoing, and we need more studies to confirm these initial findings and really understand the full extent of PSK's potential. But the possibilities are definitely exciting.
Totally. It sounds like we've only just scratched the surface of what turkey tail and PSK have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
What other areas are scientists looking into?
One area that's generating some buzz is the potential role of PSK in managing metabolic disorders, specifically diabetes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's some evidence suggesting that it might improve insulin sensitivity and help regulate blood sugar levels.
So could turkey tail mushrooms be part of a holistic approach to managing diabetes?
Potentially.
How would that work?
Well, researchers are still exploring the mechanisms, but PSK's ability to modulate the immune system and reduce inflammation could be key, because chronic inflammation is often a factor in metabolic disorders like diabetes.
This is just mind-blowing. We started with a colorful mushroom, and now we're talking about potential applications in cancer, heart health, brain health, and even diabetes management. It's amazing how interconnected everything is.
It really is. And that's what makes studying like natural remedies like turkey tail so fascinating. They often have this like multifaceted impact on the body, targeting multiple pathways simultaneously.
Speaking of multifaceted, are there any other, surprising benefits of turkey tail that we haven't touched on yet?
There are a few areas that are still under investigation. For instance, some researchers are exploring its potential prebiotic effects.
Prebiotics, those are good for gut health.
Right, exactly. So prebiotics are essentially food for the beneficial bacteria that live in our gut.
Right?
They help to promote a healthy gut microbiome, which we're finding is so crucial for our overall health and well-being.
So turkey tail mushrooms could be a double whammy for gut health, both prebiotic, A&D, anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, that's what researchers are hoping to find out.
Wow.
But as always, more research is needed to confirm these benefits.
Well, folks, it seems like the potential benefits of turkey tail mushrooms just keep on growing.
They do.
We've covered a lot of ground today, but I feel like there's still so much more to explore. Before we wrap up this deep dive, we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on turkey tail mushrooms? Have you tried them? Do you have any questions or personal experiences that you'd like to share? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Your insights could be valuable to others on their own turkey tail journey.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back to wrap things up after a quick break. Welcome back to Deep Dive Dialogues 3D.
All right, so we left off talking about PSK and its incredible potential beyond just, boosting the immune system. Where do we go from here?
Well, one area where PSK has really captured the attention of researchers is in cancer treatment. Now, it's important to note that PSK is not a cure for cancer,
Right.
but it's showing incredible promise as what's called an adjuvant therapy.
Adjuvant therapy, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty technical. What does that mean, in simple terms?
It means that PSK is used alongside conventional cancer treatments like chemo or radiation. Think of it as like a powerful sidekick,
Right.
helping those conventional treatments work more effectively.
So it's not replacing those treatments, but rather enhancing them.
Exactly. And the research is really backing this up. Studies have shown that PSK can actually improve survival rates in certain types of cancer,
Wow.
like gastric, colon, colorectal, and breast cancer.
That's amazing to hear. It sounds like PSK is making a real difference in the fight against cancer. But how does it actually work? Is it just boosting the immune system to fight those cancer cells?
That's part of it, yeah. So by activating those NK cells and T cells we talked about earlier, PSK helps the immune system recognize and destroy cancer cells more effectively. But there's evidence suggesting that PSK might also have a more direct effect on cancer cells themselves.
Really? Like what?
Well, some studies have shown that PSK can actually inhibit the growth of tumor cells
Okay.
and even induce apoptosis.
Apoptosis, remind me what that means again.
So think of it as programmed cell death. It's a natural process where damaged or abnormal cells, like cancer cells, essentially self-destruct
Right.
to protect the body.
So in a way, PSK is encouraging those, rogue cancer cells to take themselves out.
You got it.
That's a pretty clever strategy.
And the fact that PSK is approved as an adjuvant cancer treatment in Japan, that really speaks volumes about its effectiveness and safety.
Oh, wow. So it's being used in, real-world settings to help people fight cancer. That's really encouraging to hear. But what about those other potential benefits you mentioned? What's the latest on, cardiovascular health and neuroprotection?
All right. So in the realm of cardiovascular health, the research is still in its early stages. But what we're seeing so far is quite promising. PSK seems to have a positive impact on cholesterol levels, potentially lowering those harmful LDL levels that contribute to heart disease.
So heart-healthy mushrooms. I like where this is going.
Right.
Are there any other ways it might benefit the heart?
There's more. PSK also exhibits antioxidant effects, which means it can help protect cells from damage caused by free radicals.
Okay.
And since oxidative stress is a major contributor to cardiovascular disease, this antioxidant activity could be another way that PSK supports heart health.
It's amazing how this one compound seems to have so many different beneficial effects. What about neuroprotection? What's the scoop there?
Okay, so neuroprotection is another exciting area of research. Again, it's early days. But studies suggest that PSK might be able to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain.
Okay. And why is that important for brain health?
Well, think of oxidative stress and inflammation as tiny fires that damage brain cells over time.
Right.
And these fires are implicated in a whole range of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Right.
And if PSK can help put out those fires, so to speak, it could potentially play a role in preventing or slowing down these devastating conditions.
That's incredible. So we've got potential benefits for cancer, heart health, and even brain health. Is there anything this mushroom can't do?
Well, it's important to remember that research is ongoing,
Yeah.
and we need more studies to confirm these initial findings
Yeah.
and really understand the full extent of PSK's potential, but the possibilities are certainly exciting.
Totally agree. It sounds like we've only just scratched the surface of what turkey tail and PSK have to offer. What other areas are scientists looking into?
Well, one area that's generating some buzz is the potential of PSK in managing metabolic disorders, specifically diabetes.
Okay.
There's some evidence suggesting that it might improve insulin sensitivity and help regulate blood sugar levels.
So could turkey tail mushrooms be part of like a holistic approach to managing diabetes?
Potentially, yeah.
How would that work?
Well, researchers are still exploring the exact mechanisms, but PSK's ability to modulate the immune system and reduce inflammation could be key here, because chronic inflammation is often a factor in metabolic disorders, like diabetes.
Wow, this is just mind-blowing. We started with a colorful mushroom, and now we're talking about potential applications in cancer, heart health, brain health, and even diabetes management. It's amazing how interconnected everything is.
It really is, and that's what makes studying natural remedies like turkey tail so fascinating. They often have this multifaceted impact on the body, targeting multiple pathways simultaneously.
Speaking of multifaceted, are there any other surprising benefits of turkey tail that we haven't touched on yet?
Yeah, there are a few areas that are still under investigation. For instance, some researchers are exploring its potential prebiotic effects.
Prebiotics, those are good for gut health.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Prebiotics are essentially food for the beneficial bacteria that live in our gut,
Okay.
and they help to promote a healthy gut microbiome, which is increasingly being recognized as crucial for our overall health and well-being.
So turkey tail mushrooms could be like a double whammy for gut health, both prebiotic and anti-inflammatory.
That's what researchers are hoping to find out.
Wow.
But as always, more research is needed to confirm these benefits.
Well, folks, it seems like the potential benefits of turkey tail mushrooms just keep on growing. We've covered a lot of ground today, but I feel like there's still so much more to explore. Before we wrap up this deep dive, we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on turkey tail mushrooms? Have you tried them? Do you have any questions or personal experiences that you'd like to share? Let us know in the comments below. Your insights could be valuable to others on their own turkey tail journey. And as always, be sure to subscribe to Deep Dive Dialogues 3D for more explorations into the fascinating world of science, nature, and everything in between.